Naveen Gupta is the managing director of South Asia at MENA at Ripple. So MENA is Middle East, North Africa. That is the region of MENA. Okay, that's what MENA stands for if you didn't know. So Naveen Gupta is the managing director of that, and he just came out with a couple clips I'm gonna play for you. And I got some other great XRP clips in this video. If you like XRP, if you like this channel, please subscribe if you're not subscribed. Help me get to 10,000 before the end of June. I'm doing a huge push. Please try to help me. I'd really appreciate it. I'm trying to grow the channel. I'm trying to tell as many people as I know about these great assets. So let's see what Naveen Gupta is going to say here. I just want to show you the tweet here from Mr. Man. If you're not following Mr. Man, please do. Mr. Man is a beast of information. I had the pleasure of speaking with Mr. Man. We had an hour-and-a-half conversation. Yes, he was wearing the mask, and he's just a really good soul, educated, and the guy just, we're so alike in a lot of ways, and I really respect that guy. So go give him a follow. He really deserves one, okay? Let's play this.
Naveen, Ripple recently released the new value report for 2023. Could you talk to the audience about what the new value report is and what kind of data it shares?
The new value report is a survey of business leaders and their attitude towards cryptocurrency. And what we find is 79% of the business leaders who are surveyed are either interested or very interested in harnessing the power of cryptocurrencies in their business.
MENA was identified as a key region.
79% of companies that they researched or reviewed or participated in this review said that they are looking or going to be using blockchain technology in their business moving forward. That's a huge number.
For crypto. Can you talk to me about the attitudes towards crypto for folks here in the Middle East and North Africa?
First of all, MENA has always been very progressive in terms of crypto regulation, right? That gives the safety and the comfort for people to essentially adopt cryptocurrencies. The second thing is, if you look at a market like UAE or, for example, GC, which is 6 countries here in the GC, what you would find is 90% of the people are immigrants, which means they have moved overseas and they send money back home. So because of the remittance use case and the benefits to the remittance use case, we are seeing a higher adoption of crypto than usual.
You were talking about remittances and those benefits. What are the primary use cases that you're seeing for central bank digital currencies and stablecoins?
So specifically for central bank digital currencies, what the governments want to do is they want to digitize the economy, right? They want to increase the velocity of money in the economy itself, which essentially gets higher growth. And last thing that they want to do is they want to have financial inclusion. There are many people today who are not part of the economic system, and they want to make sure that they are covered through central bank digital currencies.
Are we seeing a lot of interest in tokenization as a whole?
Tokenization of real-world asset is definitely a big theme. Think about an illiquid asset. Think about a building in which everybody wants to participate in. But today, they're not able to participate in because lots of time, building is illiquid and the securities don't trade outside of the home market. Let's take a building in the UAE, and a Japanese investor who wants to invest, say, 100 yen into that building is not able to. But with tokenization, they would be able to use yen to essentially make an investment in the token. And then second, they would also be able to...
So I find it interesting, right? Ripple has created a feature, a CBDC feature, where basically a country can go in and select what you want. Use a movie theater. You're going to the movies. What do you need, right? You go up to the thing. Everyone's different, right? Every country's different. What are their needs, right? So my needs are probably going to be like, I want a medium popcorn, light butter with some salt. I need maybe some candy on the side, and I want that icy, man. I gotta have that icy. I gotta have the icy. It's so good, strawberry. Just kidding. Okay, that is what you want, right? And the next person might be like, oh, I just need a Coke. So every country is gonna want different things. Ripple's built out this thing basically where you can just plug and play. What do you need? What does your country need? And bringing all of this to financial inclusion, right? If people can't even get a bank account, how are they gonna get a loan? How are they gonna go to school? How are they going to get an education? What you do is you're able to put internet in some of these places that don't have it with Starlink or other services like Starlink. Now these people can not only get a good education, they can be learning online, but now they can join the financial system, right? They can open a business, they can get a loan to go to school, they can do whatever they want, but they're finally included, right? And that's what this whole thing is about, is this financial inclusion. All right, I'll shut up and play the next clip.
All the transactions on chain. All the transactions on chain, which essentially brings transparency and the ability for them to buy and sell at any time. So investment and trading are the biggest use cases of tokenization, and we will see that those becoming real in very short term.
Are we seeing a lot of interest in DeFi here in the Middle East?
So our survey indicates that a number of business leaders want to take advantage of DeFi, but I would say it's still in early stages. They're figuring it out. They're experimenting to say how the liquidity pools in DeFi could be useful for them. But the overall answer is yes, but more work needs to be done on multiple use cases that are being experimented with.
You touched on this before, specifically about remittances, but for payments and treasury leaders both in the region and abroad, what are the incentives for them to use crypto in their financial flows?
These are great.
So let's take a simple example, right? So there's a buyer and supplier. Both of them are based in different countries. And today, the terms are net 30. That means the buyer pays the supplier 30 days after the goods have been received. Now, today, when they make the payment, the actual money is credited into the account of the supplier only on the 33rd day. That means they lose on an average 3 days of working capital every month. This compounds to 36 days over 1 year. Now, let's assume if they were using cryptocurrencies as a bridge, the payment that the supplier will be receiving will be instant, eliminating this 30 to 6 days of wasteful working capital that today they have to bear with, which essentially means that they can be 10% more productive in their business by eliminating this and receiving the money on the 30th day when it is sent by the buyer. And that's the power of cryptocurrencies that the businesses would like to harness.
For the region that you lead here, MENA, the Middle East and North Africa, there's been a lot of interest in crypto. Can you talk about the temperature here for crypto, the adoption of crypto in the Middle East?
Yeah, absolutely. So firstly, Middle East always had progressive regulations around crypto. So if you look at specifically the UAE, it already has enabling regulation. It has a virtual asset specific regulator that's helping with the adoption of cryptocurrencies itself. Every day, I get phone calls from multiple countries around the world for Web3 entrepreneurs who wants to move to the UAE and call it their home. And this is what we are seeing. We are seeing entrepreneurs, we are seeing money, we are seeing enabling regulation, and that's what's making the Middle East the hotbed for cryptocurrencies and entrepreneurship around it.
Man, okay, this guy, Crypto Demonicor, he did such a good job with this video. I was gonna try to go recreate some of this, but I gotta give this guy credit. He put the time in, he did this research. I wanna show him the respect as a fellow researcher. When somebody puts together something this beautiful, sometimes you just gotta let it play. So I'm gonna let it play and I'm gonna let him tell you what he found. It's pretty juicy, and go give him a follow. He deserves some respect.
This video is honestly going to blow your mind. Go to the fasterpaymentstaskforce.org website. You guys can see downloading 2 of these final reports, part 1 and part 2, faster payments. You guys can see right there. Let's head over to these reports. It says, through competitive bidding processes, the Federal Reserve, on behalf of the task force, hand-selected McKinsey & Company to serve as the Qualified Independent Assessment Team, or the QIAT. That plays an important role. That's part 1. Let's go over to part 2. At the beginning of the process, the QIAT received 25 proposals submitted to the Faster Payments Task Force. Right here, 3 or more proposers opted out of the final report, leaving 16 final proposals. Who were the 16 final proposals? One of them being Ripple. Don't forget, hand-selected by the Federal Reserve, McKinsey & Company. Keep that in mind. So,
wait, look at the examples though, guys. Let's look at this. Here are the proposals, right? What other blockchain company do you see here besides Ripple? You don't, right? Where's Stellar? Where's Quant? Where's Zenfin? It's not here. XRP, Ripple. You gotta just understand that. Ripple has a huge advantage. They've been around a lot longer. I think the lawsuit was a good thing, because let me tell you why. It pushed Ripple to go out and get other partners across the world. They know the US is gonna fall in line. But now their whole focus the last two plus years has been overseas. And how many partnerships have they made? They got Visa, MasterCard, Amex, Temenos, right? ACI. You have so many big names and payments that are now working with Ripple. The real question is, are they going to use the technology, and are they going to use XRP for that instant settlement? A sexy instant settlement. All right, let me play this.
let's go over here to a G30 or group of 30 PDF. You guys can see at the top, G30 digital currencies PDF, and it says, Ripple, a real-time gross settlement system currency exchange and remittance network whose digital currency XRP leapfrogs slow and expensive correspondent banking. If such a global currency, so it's mentioning XRP as a global currency. Now, what I found very interesting is that McKinsey & Company on this same exact G30 PDF is mentioned 2019 Global Payments Report. So I did some more digging. I went to that report. 2019 Global Payments Report. You guys can see right here. Blockchain initiatives are particularly well suited to the field of trade finance and continue to draw significant attention and investment beyond the established use case in cross-border payments and corresponding banking, such as those developed by Ripple. This is directly from McKinsey & Company. Again, the 2019 Global Report. Very interesting, right? So, mentioning trade finance, have you guys ever heard of Banking Circle? Financial infrastructure that you can bank on? If you haven't, let me blow your mind real quick. Let's go over to their website. Banking Circle is a fully licensed next generation payments bank that is designed to meet the global banking and payments needs of payments. They can't be connected to SWIFT in any way, shape, or form. Very interesting. What about all the people that say that banks have never utilized XRP? Let's go back to the Banking Circle PDF, and you guys can see right here, EuroXim Bank has recently announced its participation with Ripple for real-time payments, low liquidity requirements for FX transaction using XRP cryptocurrency. Even more interesting. Do you guys remember that 2019 global reports from McKinsey & Company mentioning Ripple in trade finance? Let's even further blow your mind. Right here from, again, the winter issue 2020 from Banking Circle, it says, Where does Ripple come into the picture? Using the on-demand liquidity capabilities of RippleNet, our clients are able to switch into and out of their own currency using Ripple's XRP cryptocurrency as the underlying digital asset. The supply of demand for liquidity is effectively almost unlimited. The switches into and out of XRP take place almost immediately. Even further interesting, guess what's right here? It says, in other words, we are taking advantage of a dedicated, tried and tested platform, which is based on blockchain distributed ledger technology. Of course, the potential for Ripple goes a long way beyond trade finance and the associated payments. That is absolutely freaking massive.
Guys, give this person a follow. They did a great job with that. Let's continue. Brad Garlinghouse is going to tell you what he thinks, how far we are away from a settlement. Let's listen to this.
Now, in terms of where things stand today, and I'll try to not get too much into the legal weeds, you are right that I feel very confident.
Anybody else notice the 589 up here on the phone, right? 589. I don't know if this person was playing around or knew that this battery was at 89%, but I just thought it was funny.
That we'll see a decision from the courts in this year. In fact, I would guess it'll be in weeks, not months. There's some decisions that happened last week that you may have read about, that the judge ruled against the SEC's effort to redact certain information about a very kind of infamous speech that the then director of corporate finance, a guy named Bill Hinman, gave, talking about why ETH, in his view, was not a security. And the court just ruled last week that the notes and emails associated with that are going to be made public and should be public around June 13th.
Okay, so if you don't know these Hinman emails, right, there's 68 emails. So Hinman gave a speech about Ethereum not being a security. So there was back and forth between a lot of people, and the ethics department was not included in the back and forth, right? So anytime a government official gives a speech, it needs to go through some type of review so we can say, hey, this person's not going to go out here and just say all wacky things, right? So there's a lot of back and forth, and we're going to find out a lot about that back and forth. We're not going to get everything. There's going to be stuff that's redacted, but we're going to know a lot of information that we didn't know before, and then we can take that information and do with that what we can. Maybe that helps our case. Maybe it hurts the SEC. Maybe it hurts us. We don't really know what's coming, but it does sound a little damning to the SEC from what Brad Garlinghouse and others have said on the matter.
I think that's a huge win for transparency. What it really calls out is there hasn't been clarity, and despite calls and demands from leaders across the crypto industry, we haven't seen that yet. But as I said, Ripple decided to lean in and fight this fight, both for Ripple but for the whole industry. We've spent a lot of money defending it. And I think what we've called out is that the government in the United States, and the SEC particularly, is putting politics ahead of smart policy. And because of that, you're seeing entrepreneurs go overseas. You're seeing companies like Ripple. Most of our hiring is non-US now. Most of our customers, as I mentioned, are non-US. And so I think it's to be
the US customers will come, let me tell you. You know what, I'm not gonna get into that. It's already a 13-minute video. You know what, I'll end it with this. Coinbase executives continue dumping Coinbase stock, guys. So listen, when Coinbase IPO'd, if you go back and look at the chart, the C levels in Coinbase dumped all over, just shit all over the people that were buying Coinbase stock. And they're still doing it, right? I added this up right here. This is about just over $3 million. 23,000, 4,000, 11,000, 19,000 at 56.78. I don't know why this price is zero here, but I think you just add them down. But amount of securities beneficiaries owed. The guys, there's a lot of dumping right now going on by these guys here here's Brock Lawrence, here's Alicia J. Haas, right? They're all dumping Coinbase stock. Paul Grewal, right? We see Paul all the time talking about, hey, let's be fair, you know? Have you guys got your Flare or your Songbird yet on Coinbase? I bet you haven't, but I messaged Paul personally to try to get him to release those funds. I don't have anything to do with that, but I care about the other XRP people in the community. I'm gonna end the video there, guys. 15 minutes, I know you guys don't like to stay long. Attention spans are short, mine is too. But if you got something out of the video, if you like my channel, please get subscribed, help me grow the channel, share with somebody you know. I try to read all comments. Watch out for scammers in the comments because they're all over. We had to delete over 200 comments from a video the other day, banned people, and we're doing our best to try to keep scammers away from you guys, but we'll see what happens with the price. But remember, even when we get that clarity, that's still not the price that I'm looking for. I want that. What is XRP really worth? And I think we're gonna need to wait a little bit more time to see that, but it is gonna be nice to see it over $1 again. And people, I think Bitcoin people are gonna be selling Bitcoin. People are going to be selling Ethereum, getting into XRP, because XRP really, I do think, is the future. 300 other projects being built on top of it, on top of Ripple, right? how much XRP is there in the world, right? Oh, there is 50 billion circulating. There's not 50 billion circulating, guys. There's a lot less. And I think that's going to become more apparent once there's some clarity or a judge's decision and we get an understanding of what's about to happen will take place. We'll see what happens. I will keep you up to date. You better believe that. If you guys like my content and you want access to my Sensei chats, I do 2 chats a week that are an hour and a half to 2 hours long. I go through 60, 70, 80 pieces of different crypto news. We talk about technology, tokenomics. We talk about asset tokenization, CBDC, regulation, geopolitics. I talk about the banking crisis. I talk about stocks sometimes. I called Credit Suisse failure last year, mid-2022. I called the liquidity crisis this year. There's been a lot of things that I've been ahead on and my community's been ahead on, and they've been able to position themselves so they are not affected by some of these things. But I did call a lot of this stuff before it happened because this is all I do 24/7 is research and research. See you guys in the next one. Thanks.